Hey everyone, welcome back to Zen Mind Peaceful Life. If you're an Aries or have one close to you, this video is must-watch for June 2025. Imagine this, you start the month full of fiery energy. Ready to conquer the world, only to find everything slipping through your fingers if you don't make one vital change. Sounds intense, right? That's because it is. The universe is sending Aries a wake-up call this June. And ignoring it could cost you dearly, not just in your external life, but deep within your emotional and spiritual world too. Today, I'm going to reveal the hard truth Aries need to hear, something no one else is talking about. We'll explore how your natural impulsiveness and drive, usually your greatest strengths, might become your biggest risks right now. And more importantly, I'll share practical, psychology-backed tools and spiritual insights that will help you not only survive this intense period but come out stronger, wiser, and more peaceful than ever. Before we dive in, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss an astrology insight designed to bring more calm and clarity to your life. Like this video if you're ready to transform challenges into powerful growth. And share it with any Aries who could use this message. Trust me, you'll want to stick around till the very end, because what you learn today might just change everything. When June rolls around, Aries often feel a surge of energy, like the world is theirs to conquer. That blazing fire inside, that fierce courage to charge ahead without hesitation, is part of what makes Aries so magnetic. But this June, something subtle yet profound shifts beneath the surface. It's like the wind changes direction, and if you keep running the same way without noticing, you might find yourself crashing into walls you didn't see coming. Many Aries I've worked with describe this time as a strange mix of restlessness and frustration, like you're wired to go full speed but the universe is pulling the brakes. This push-pull is more than just a planetary quirk, it taps into a deeper psychological tension that Aries carry throughout their lives. At the core, Aries crave independence and control, and June forces them to question just how much control they really have. This struggle isn't just about astrology, it's a classic human experience of facing the limits of our own impulsiveness. Take Lisa, a fiery Aries entrepreneur I spoke with recently. She started June confident, ready to launch a big project that she believed would skyrocket her business. But as days went by, obstacles kept appearing, unexpected delays, team conflicts, and self-doubt creeping in. At first, her instinct was to push harder, to bulldoze through problems with sheer willpower. But the harder she pushed, the more resistance she met, and the more drained she felt. What saved her wasn't more force, but a pause. Lisa learned to step back, listen carefully to the feedback around her, and slow down. This shift from do it all at once to pause and reflect not only saved her project but deepened her leadership. This month, Aries face a hard truth: stubbornness, which usually serves as your shield, can become a trap. It's easy to think that pushing forward no matter what is a sign of strength. But when June's energy demands flexibility, rigid insistence on your own way can actually shut down opportunities and alienate the people who matter most. Psychologically, stubbornness often comes from a place of fear of failure, fear of losing identity, or fear of vulnerability. The challenge is to recognize this fear and gently let it go. Imagine trying to steer a speeding motorcycle on a winding road but refusing to adjust your grip or slow down when the path gets tricky. Aries are incredible at charging ahead, but this month, the road demands a softer, more adaptive touch. The good news? This doesn't mean you're weak, it means you're learning a more advanced form of strength, the strength to change course when needed. Emotional signals are another place Aries tend to struggle, especially in times like these. When faced with stress or uncertainty, Aries often go into action mode, trying to fix problems externally without tuning in to their inner emotional world. It's like trying to fix a car by replacing parts without checking the engine light. This kind of emotional blindness can quietly undermine your well-being and decision-making. Consider Mark, an Aries friend who recently experienced a sudden fallout with a close friend. He was so focused on defending his position and pushing his viewpoint that he didn't notice how hurt or distant his friend was feeling. It wasn't until he took a step back, allowed himself to feel the discomfort of vulnerability, and opened up in honest conversation that the friendship had a chance to heal. For Aries, learning to sit with uncomfortable emotions rather than charging past them is a game changer this June. The influence of Mars, Aries' ruling planet, is always significant, but in June, it becomes especially intense. Mars is like the cosmic engine that fuels Aries' drive, passion, and assertiveness. When Mars is moving smoothly, Aries feel unstoppable. But during challenging aspects or retrograde phases, Mars energy can feel blocked, confusing, or even exhausting. This isn't a time to fight harder against the current, it's a time to recalibrate. One of the best ways to work with Mars' tricky energy is to channel it into mindful movement, things like yoga, martial arts, or even regular walks in nature. These practices help Aries release built-up tension without reckless outbursts. For example, Sarah, another Aries client, found that incorporating just 10 minutes of daily breathwork helped her stay centered when everything felt chaotic around her. Rather than exploding in frustration, she learned to respond with calm determination. Losing everything might sound dramatic, but in astrology, it often means losing old patterns, illusions, or attachments that no longer serve your highest good. For Aries, who pride themselves on being pioneers and survivors, this kind of loss can feel like a crisis of identity. But it's precisely this breaking down of the old that opens space for something new and better to grow. The fear of losing what you've built, your relationships, career, or sense of self, is real. But clinging too tightly can backfire, leading to burnout or disconnection. Instead, imagine this as a cosmic clearing out, like pruning a garden. It might look messy now, but it's necessary for vibrant new life to flourish. So, what's the essential change Aries must make to navigate June's energy? It's a shift from impulsive action to intentional reflection. This means catching yourself before you react, taking a breath, and asking, is this move coming from clarity or from urgency and fear? Mindfulness isn't just a trendy buzzword, it's a survival tool for Aries right now. Practical steps can make this easier. Keeping a daily journal to track your thoughts and feelings can illuminate unconscious patterns driving your behavior. Setting small pauses during your day, even just a few seconds to check in with your body and emotions, builds new neural pathways that support thoughtful decision-making. It's a way of retraining the Aries mind to balance its natural boldness with wisdom. This journey isn't about losing your fire, it's about learning to wield it with precision rather than wild abandon. June asks Aries to grow not by doing more, but by doing differently. And here's where it gets even more exciting, because those who embrace this change will find that June's challenges transform into some of the most powerful breakthroughs of their lives. But I'll get into how to harness that energy next, so stay tuned. You definitely don't want to miss what comes next. As we delve deeper into the Aries experience this June, it becomes clear that the idea of losing everything isn't just a dramatic phrase, it's a metaphor for a profound inner clearing. Aries, by nature, are warriors of action and ambition, but what happens when everything that once felt solid starts to feel like it's slipping through your fingers? This sensation can be terrifying, especially for those who identify strongly with their accomplishments and external successes. But sometimes, life has to shake your foundations to give you the chance to rebuild something far stronger. I remember a young Aries named Jason who faced this exact crisis. His career had always been his pride and joy, he pushed tirelessly to climb the corporate ladder. But in June, a sudden company restructuring left him unemployed. Initially, Jason felt as though the world had ended. His natural response was to double down, to fight harder, to prove he still had control. Yet, each attempt to force outcomes only led to more frustration and exhaustion. The turning point came when he allowed himself to pause and grieve the loss, opening up to new possibilities rather than clinging desperately to the old. This period of loss, while painful, offered Jason clarity. It forced him to reconnect with parts of himself that had been overshadowed by ambition, his creativity, his relationships, and his deeper values. For Aries watching this unfold in their lives, the lesson is clear. Sometimes, losing everything external can be the gateway to discovering your true inner strength. The most critical change Aries must embrace is a radical shift in mindset, from rushing headlong into challenges without reflection, to cultivating a pause that invites clarity. This isn't about stepping back out of fear or avoidance, but about creating a mental space where decisions come from wisdom rather than urgency. Practically, this means developing habits that interrupt impulsive cycles, like setting small daily rituals to check in with your feelings or deliberately slowing down your pace when anxiety spikes. For instance, I've worked with many Aries clients who found immense benefit from simple breathing exercises. One woman shared how a 5-minute morning breath meditation helped her start each day grounded rather than reactive. This pause enabled her to notice when her typical fiery energy was tipping into aggression or impatience, giving her the chance to choose a calmer response instead. These small but consistent practices build what psychologists call emotional resilience, a vital skill for navigating turbulent times. Beyond individual efforts, June's energy also invites Aries to rethink how they interact with others. The desire to lead and be first can sometimes unintentionally alienate friends, family, or colleagues. During this month, Aries who learn to listen deeply, really listen, without jumping in with solutions or defensiveness, will find their connections strengthened. This listening is not passive, it requires courage, humility, and presence, qualities that balance Aries' natural boldness with grace. Take Anthony, another Aries I know, who struggled for years to maintain close relationships because he always wanted to fix things or push for his own way. This June, faced with a rough patch in his marriage, he decided to change tactics. Instead of reacting, he began practicing mindful listening, acknowledging his partner's feelings without interruption. This shift softened the tension and opened the door to healing. His story reminds us that sometimes the greatest strength is shown not in charging ahead, but in standing still and being fully present. Astrologically, the new moon in June acts like a cosmic reset button for Aries. It offers a fresh start, a chance to plant seeds for the future, but only if Aries approach it with intention rather than haste. This means taking time to clarify what truly matters and setting goals that reflect inner growth, not just external achievement. Writing down intentions or creating vision boards aligned with heartfelt desires can be powerful tools during this phase. Breaking free from toxic Aries patterns is also essential. The fierce independence and confidence that define this sign can sometimes slip into aggression, impatience, or overconfidence. Recognizing when these tendencies surface and consciously choosing gentler, more patient responses can prevent unnecessary conflicts and emotional burnout. It's about channeling that passionate energy in ways that uplift rather than exhaust. One client shared how she used to rush through conversations, convinced that speed was strength. When she slowed down, she found her points landed more effectively and her relationships improved dramatically. This kind of self-awareness is transformative and, honestly, it feels deeply liberating for Aries to discover they don't have to do it all fast to succeed. Developing patience and the art of listening not only improves relationships but also sharpens Aries' decision-making skills. When you're constantly in motion, it's easy to miss subtle clues or second-guess important choices. Learning to pause and listen, whether to your intuition, trusted advisors, or even the quiet nudges of the universe, can be the difference between stumbling and thriving. Spiritually, grounding practices become a lifeline. Aries' fiery energy can burn hot and fast, and without grounding, it's easy to feel scattered or overwhelmed. Simple rituals like walking barefoot on grass, sitting quietly with a cup of tea, or practicing gentle breath awareness can anchor Aries in the present moment. These moments of calm create space for clarity and replenishment. Sarah, an Aries yoga teacher I met, explained how her daily practice helps her balance her intense energy. On days when she feels particularly restless or irritable, A slow sequence of stretches and mindful breathing brings her back to center. It's a reminder that true power lies in harmony, not just force. All these insights point to a profound truth. The Aries journey in June isn't about losing your fire, it's about learning to temper it with wisdom, patience, and connection. The challenges you face are not punishments but invitations to evolve into a more complete version of yourself. And this is just the beginning of the story. As the month unfolds, the way you harness these lessons will shape your path forward in ways you might not yet imagine. Stay with me, because up next, we'll explore how Aries can transform these trials into triumphs, and which cosmic allies to lean on as you navigate this powerful season. In the intense heat of June, Aries are invited not only to confront their external challenges but also to face the most difficult battle of all, their inner world. Self-reflection isn't usually the easiest path for Aries. You're known for your courage to act, your fiery confidence, and your preference for charging ahead rather than sitting still to ponder. But this month asks you to step into the uncomfortable space of looking inward, to truly understand the motivations behind your actions and the emotions you've been pushing aside. It's a psychological crossroads. When Aries resist self-reflection, they often double down on external control, trying to manage the outside world to compensate for inner discomfort. This can create a cycle of frustration and exhaustion, because no matter how much you push, the deeper issues remain untouched. The challenge is to cultivate courage not just in action, but in vulnerability, to admit when you don't have all the answers and to explore what's beneath your surface fire. Take Jenna, a passionate Aries artist who often felt restless and stuck. She believed that if she just kept working harder, she'd eventually break through. But during June, she was forced to slow down after a sudden creative block. Instead of forcing the work, she allowed herself quiet moments of self-exploration, journaling about her fears of failure and what success really meant to her. This honest reflection reignited her creativity, opening new doors she hadn't seen before. The emotional and psychological work Aries must do now isn't a detour, it's the foundation for sustainable growth. When you pause to understand your deeper patterns, what triggers your impatience, what fears drive your impulsiveness, you gain the power to change those patterns. It's like upgrading the software that runs your inner world, so your natural Aries energy flows more smoothly. The new moon in June offers an astrological spotlight on this internal work. It's a cosmic invitation to set fresh intentions, but with a nuance that many Aries might overlook: the power of deliberate, heartfelt goals rather than reactive wishes. This is a time to ask yourself, what kind of Aries do I want to be when this cycle ends? What values and qualities do I want to embody? Writing these down and revisiting them regularly can anchor your transformation. For Aries, breaking free from toxic patterns is crucial. There's a fine line between healthy confidence and overconfidence, between fierce independence and stubborn isolation. Recognizing when you're tipping over into impatience or aggression, and choosing to respond differently, can change the trajectory of your relationships and your peace of mind. Sophia, an Aries coach, shared how this awareness transformed her leadership style. She used to believe that pushing her team relentlessly was the way to success. But as she learned to temper her intensity with patience and empathy, her team's morale and productivity soared. This shift didn't diminish her power, it amplified it, creating a leadership that inspired rather than intimidated. Learning patience and deep listening is part of this evolution. Aries thrive on momentum, but momentum fueled by insight is far more sustainable than momentum driven by restlessness. When you take the time to listen to your intuition, to others, and to the subtle messages life sends, you can navigate June's challenges with grace rather than force. A client of mine, David, once told me that learning to truly listen was the hardest lesson for him as an Aries. He realized that interrupting or dominating conversations was often a way to avoid feeling vulnerable. But by practicing patient listening, he built deeper friendships and made wiser decisions in business and life. This month also calls Aries to consider their astrological compatibility carefully. Not all energies align smoothly now. Some signs or planetary transits might trigger conflict or frustration, making it harder to maintain harmony. Instead of charging into every interaction headfirst, Aries might find wisdom in stepping back from potentially volatile dynamics or approaching them with more diplomacy. On a spiritual level, grounding practices can't be overstated for Aries in June. The intense fire energy can create tension that feels like it's pulling you in every direction. Simple yet powerful rituals like mindful breathing, spending time in nature, or even creating a small daily gratitude practice can anchor you in calmness. These moments of stillness replenish your energy and open space for clarity. Lisa, an Aries mother juggling work and family, found that daily walks in the park became her sanctuary. These walks not only gave her physical release but also mental clarity, helping her respond to daily stresses with more patience and love. Ultimately, these inner shifts aren't about losing your edge, they're about sharpening it. When Aries combine their fierce courage with emotional awareness, patience, and groundedness, they unlock a new level of power that sustains them far beyond fleeting victories. And the most exciting part? This transformation is just beginning. As June unfolds, the ability to balance fire with calm, action with reflection, and strength with softness will define the Aries who don't just survive this period, but thrive beyond it. As we approach the final insights for Aries navigating this intense June, it's important to remember that this journey is as much about empowerment as it is about challenge. One of the biggest awakenings for Aries this month is the realization that true strength often means embracing change as a warrior, not just charging blindly, but wielding your fire with precision and awareness. It's about courage that is tempered with wisdom. There's a story I often recall of a dear Aries friend named Maya, whose life felt like a battlefield for years. She was relentless, always the first to dive into a project, the first to speak her mind, and sometimes, the first to burn out. When June's pressures mounted, she faced a choice: either resist the shifts and risk losing everything she had worked so hard for, or lean into change, no matter how uncomfortable. She chose the latter. By embracing change as part of her path, Maya transformed her life, redefining success not just as external achievement but as inner peace and balance. What Maya discovered is that change is not a sign of weakness or failure but a powerful step toward growth. Aries, with their pioneering spirit, are naturally suited to transformation. They are born to break new ground, to leave old patterns behind, and to rise stronger. When you see change through this lens, you don't fear loss, you welcome evolution. The challenge, and the opportunity, is to harness this perspective during June's most intense moments. When you feel the urge to resist or fight back, pause and remind yourself that you are a warrior who chooses battles wisely. That fierce energy you carry is a gift when aligned with your deepest truths. Another key to thriving this month lies in spotting red flags early, those subtle warning signs in relationships, work, or personal habits that indicate trouble before it explodes. Aries often have a tendency to dive in headfirst, propelled by passion and impatience, but June invites a more careful eye. This means learning to trust your intuition and observing the small cues that usually get overlooked in the heat of the moment. Jessica, an Aries manager I know, learned this lesson the hard way. She had a key partnership that suddenly started to show signs of strain: missed communications, shifting priorities, subtle disagreements. Instead of ignoring these red flags, she took the time to address them openly with her partner. This proactive approach prevented a major fallout and actually strengthened their collaboration. It's a reminder that early awareness and communication can save you from losing more than just opportunities. They can protect your peace and integrity. For Aries watching this, the message is clear: don't let pride or haste blind you to the quiet signals around you. Tune into your environment, listen to your gut, and don't hesitate to set healthy boundaries or ask tough questions. This vigilance is a form of self-care that preserves your energy and your vision. Finally, the empowering step Aries can take right now is to embrace a daily mantra or affirmation that centers their fiery spirit in peace and clarity. Words have incredible power, especially when repeated with intention. Something as simple as, "I am courageous and adaptable. I grow stronger through change," can act as a grounding force amid chaos. Tom, an Aries entrepreneur, found that repeating this mantra each morning helped him navigate a turbulent business phase with more calm and confidence. It shifted his mindset from reactive anxiety to proactive clarity, which made all the difference. So, Aries, if you've made it this far, know that you are not alone on this journey. The trials and tensions of June are invitations to become the best version of yourself. By leaning into self-reflection, patience, emotional awareness, and mindful action, you transform what feels like a crisis into a catalyst for unstoppable growth. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you to take a deep breath and honor how far you've come. Change is never easy, but it's always worth it. If this video resonated with you, please take a moment to hit that like button. Subscribe to Zen Mind Peaceful Life, and share this message with any Aries in your life who need to hear it right now. Together, we're building a community of mindful warriors who meet life's challenges with both fire and peace. Stay tuned for more insightful astrology and personal growth content. Until next time, keep your mind calm and your spirit peaceful.